Right after giving birth, I was abandoned by my husband and his mother and ended up living in an old house with my son. Moreover, every day my mother-in-law would leave leftovers in front of our house. When I opened the trash bag, there it was. I am May, 30 years old. I married a man named Jin when I was 25. Jin worked for a small company with low wages and minimal bonuses, but we managed with both of us working. 2 years later, our son Robin was born, and even though we were poor, we were happy. I quit my job to take care of Robin, which made our finances even tighter. Jin started working on road construction after his regular job hours. I was worried about Jin's health. You know, I really appreciate you working for us, but are you okay? I'm really worried about your health. When I said that, Jin laughed and flexed his biceps, saying,
"Don't worry, I've never been sick a day in my life since I was a kid. Plus, I've always kept in shape with rugby, so this is nothing for me."
Indeed, Jin's body was muscular, almost like a martial arts expert. But still, don't overdo it, okay?
Got it.
Jin said this with a kind smile. However, the following month, he collapsed at a road construction site due to a stroke caused by overwork and passed away suddenly. My son and I were left clueless beside Jin's body. That's when a man who seemed to be from Jin's company approached me.
"Hi, I'm Michael. I've had dealings with your husband's company."
He handed me his business card, which had the name of a famous trading company on it. As I put the card in my pocket, Michael said,
"It must be tough for you now. How do you plan to get by?"
"Well, I haven't had the chance to think about the future yet. My mother will take care of the children for a while, but she can't stay long as my parents live far away and my father already needs care."
"That's tough. Well, I have many contacts and can help you and your son."
"Thank you, I appreciate it." At that time, still shocked by my husband's sudden departure, I accepted help from a stranger too readily. That was the beginning of our misfortune. The funeral with the help of my in-laws and mother passed somehow, but I was drained. My mother was looking after Robin, but she seemed tired due to her age. "Juria, are you okay?" "I'm fine, but I'm worried about you and Robin," Juria said, tears streaming down her face. I forced a smile not to upset Juria. "It's okay, there are nurseries and staff around here. I'll start working again. There are plenty of single mothers who manage." "I hope so." While we were talking, Michael, who was still around, approached Juria.
"You must be May's mother?"
Taken aback by a stranger's approach, Juria responded in a small voice. "Thank you for being here today." Then Michael repeated to Juria what he had said to me. "Thank you very much." Just then we heard Robin crying from another room, so I went to comfort him. 2 weeks after the funeral, I finally stopped crying every night and started to settle down. I managed to return to my previous job. Juria had to return to my father soon, so I was looking for a childcare center, but couldn't find any nearby. That's when Michael, returning from work, suddenly visited my house.
"May, can we talk over a coffee?"
I would love to, but Juria is taking care of Robin, so I can't go out. Please come in." As I invited him, Michael entered.
"Have you found a childcare center for Robin?"
"No, I'm looking, but it's hard to find."
"I have a sister, Maria, who used to work in a childcare center when she was younger. Now she's married and a housewife, unable to have children. I mentioned Robin to her the other day, and she said she would love to take care of him. Plus, her house is near your workplace, which would be convenient."
I was relieved to hear Michael's offer, but at the same time I felt uneasy. Why is Michael so keen on taking care of us? "I really appreciate your offer, but why do you want to help us so much?" Michael looked a bit troubled when he heard my question.
"There's no special reason. It was just hard to see you struggling."
"I see. I'll discuss it with Juria once." I decided to call Juria over and discuss Michael's offer of help. "Juria, Maria has offered to take care of Robin." "Oh, we couldn't possibly impose on her like that."
"Maria is unfortunately unable to have children, but she loves them. My sister is also happy about it."
Is that so? Even though Julia was told this by Michael, she seemed unable to simply accept and say yes. Julia, since Michael is offering, I think I'll ask her, and of course, we'll pay her a childcare fee. Well, if that's the case, then I guess it's alright.
Don't worry, so I'll bring Maria over the day after tomorrow, Sunday, to meet Robin. Is that okay?
Yes, please do. Sunday came and Maria arrived to meet Robin. Robin smiled happily in Maria's arm and Maria also looked very happy holding him. And so I decided to have Maria take care of Robin while I was at work. The following week, Julia went back to her home and we started leaving Robin at Maria's place. Every morning, I would drop Robin off before work and pick him up after. 3 months passed and one day Michael came to my workplace to speak to me.
May, I need to talk to you.
I managed to get some time from my boss and went to the conference room.
There's something I want to ask you, May.
Yes, what is it?
May, actually...
Michael just said that and then fell silent. With a smile, I asked him, "Oh, what's the matter?
Can I visit your house today?
Why?"
There's something I need to tell you, and I can drive you home after work.
Oh, okay. I understand. That day after work, I went to pick up Robin in Michael's car and then we went to my house. As soon as we arrived, Michael said to me,
May, will you marry me?
I was so surprised by his words that I couldn't speak.
I know we can't get married right away, but it doesn't have to be anytime soon.
I couldn't even think about remarriage just 3 months after Jin's death. I appreciate your words, but I'm not ready to think about remarriage yet.
I understand how you feel, May, but I really want to help you raise Robin.
Mentioning my son shook my heart. As Robin grows, there will be many challenges. Having a husband would be a great support. But I felt guilty, like I was betraying Jin. I can't answer right now. Can you give me some more time?
Of course, that's fine. I'll wait for your answer. And by the way, I would like to continue picking up Robin sometimes.
If it's okay with your work, I would be happy.
Sure, I'll contact you when I can.
Thank you. And so Michael began to pick me up more often and also Robin. 3 months after his proposal, one night I had a dream. In the dream, Jin and Robin were playing together in a nearby park, but it got dark and Jin was about to leave. I shouted at him, "Don't go!" But Jin just smiled kindly.
It's okay for Robin to be raised by you and Michael,
he said. When I woke up in the morning, tears were streaming down my face. The following Sunday after that dream, I invited Michael over and told him I would accept his proposal. Michael looked genuinely happy. We decided not to have a big wedding. And that's when I first learned Michael had been divorced.
She ran off with another man,
Michael said with a laugh. We decided to live in Michael's family home. We ended up living in a separate house on the grounds of a very large house. Michael's father had already passed away, and until now, Jesse and Michael had been living in that big house. I said to Jesse, "Please be kind to us from now on." But Jesse just glanced at me and said nothing. I had a bad feeling at that moment, and it didn't take long for that feeling to become reality. It was about 2 months after I started living in the in-laws' house when Jessie showed her true colors. "May, don't just take care of Robin, take care of Michael too. You know all about Michael's likes and dislikes, right? Don't just make your favorite foods all the time. Don't just worry about your parents, but think of me too. Michael's shirt collars were dirty. You should check them every day," she said, nagging about various things. And, not just speaking, she started coming to the separate house and rigorously checking everything. If she found even a single piece of trash or a hair, she scolded me mercilessly. Watching Jessie, I started to think that Michael's ex-wife didn't run off with another man but ran away from Jessie. Half a year into our marriage, I found out I was pregnant. Instead of being happy about my pregnancy, Jessie made a nasty face and said, "Are you sure the child is Michael's and not some other men's?" I was shocked to hear Jessie's words, but a few seconds later, I felt a tremendous irritation and said to Jessie with clear anger,
Jesse, I cannot forgive those words. Please apologize right now.
Jessie seemed a bit surprised by my fierce tone but quickly retorted, "What are you talking about? I was just worried about Michael. You are too presumptuous for a wife."
I don't think I am being presumptuous. You're the one who suggested that my child with Michael might be another man's.
What's the big deal? I was told that every day when I got married.
I never talk back like you. Be more aware of your role as a wife.
I realized arguing with Jessie was pointless. Is that so? You're saying I lack awareness as a wife? I understand. I'll be more careful from now on. To that, Jessie responded with a sneer. That's right. Reflect on yourself. You're a wife who came into this house. I started to think that coming to this house might have been a mistake. That night when Michael returned from work, Jessie immediately called him and took him to the main house. About 30 minutes later, Michael returned to the separate house and said to me with an angry expression,
May, what did you say to Jessie? She was crying.
I was surprised by Michael's words. I was the one who wanted to cry after what Jessie said to me today. Moreover, Michael's tone was not as polite as usual.
Jessie accused me of possibly having another man. I asked her to apologize, so the problem lies with your mother who would say such things. Hey, don't make unnecessary remarks. Jessie didn't mean any harm. Just laugh it off and lightly deny it.
Michael said. Hearing Michael's words, I thought he had changed from the gentleman he used to be. There was no more of his previous kindness. It wasn't something that could be laughed off. Michael got even angrier upon hearing my words.
Don't you have any patience? There are things that are okay to say and things that are not.
After I said that, Michael left for the main house without a word, and I held Robin, waiting for Michael, but he didn't return to the separate house that day. The next morning, Michael returned to the separate house. At the time, I was supposed to drop off Robin and coldly said,
Let's go.
I was convinced that Michael had changed. 2 weeks later, one night, Michael told me,
From next week, May, you'll take care of Robin's drop-offs and pickups.
It was unexpected for me. I had a driver's license but was a complete novice and with no confidence in driving Robin to Maria's house. I can't drive. I have a license, but it's scary.
If you have a license, it shouldn't be a problem. I'm being transferred, so I need to leave home early. I won't be able to go to Maria's anymore. Practice over the weekend.
I couldn't say anything in response. Over the weekend, I desperately practiced driving in a large unused parking lot nearby. Michael didn't help at all, citing work. On Monday, I put Robin in the child seat and set off, arriving late at Maria's house due to my fearful driving. Oh, you're late today. I'm driving from today. When I said that, Maria muttered, Michael, again? I didn't understand what she meant and asked, Never mind. But Maria just said that. That night, as soon as Michael returned home, he said to me,
Don't say weird things to Jessie again. If you make Jessie cry again, I'll kick you out.
Then he went to the main house. I prepared dinner and waited for Michael, but he didn't return, so I went to the main house and found Jessie and Michael happily dining together. Oh, May, what's up? I just said nothing and returned to the separate house to have dinner with Robin. After that, Michael barely spoke to me and started having dinner at the main house. Michael became a completely different person just because I stood up to Jessie once. 2 months later, our son was born. Bob was the name Jessie and Michael chose. I had a name in mind, but it was decided unilaterally. One Sunday, soon after the birth, I went to the main house when I couldn't find Michael, and there he was watching TV with Jessie, looking very chummy. I needed help with the 2 children, so I said, Michael, if you're watching TV, can you come back to the separate house and help with the children? My casual remark angered them both. What a nagging woman, we're just enjoying TV together.
Yeah, right, just leave.
Yeah, leave, Michael said with a sneer.
Hey, take your kids and get out right now.
I was confused. What?
You need to leave the separate house,
he said. I was shocked that Michael suddenly told me to leave.
Why? Why do we have to leave? Tell me the reason. Because my precious Jessie is angry.
What does that mean? What do you think of me and the children?
My precious wife and children?
You're telling your precious family to leave?
Yeah, they're precious. There's an old house in the backyard. Go there.
Michael said that, and Jessie looked at me with a mocking gaze. Michael's always had bad luck with women. The previous wife was bad, but this one's even worse. Jessie's words confirmed my belief that Michael's ex-wife didn't run away with another man but left because of their terrible harassment. I was saddened by my own misfortune and thought about Jin. Before I knew it, tears were streaming down my face. Jessie saw this and said, "Oh, looking for sympathy? I'm not fooled by such cheap drama. Now leave." Crying, I stood up, went back to the separate house and took my 2 children to the old house. "I'm sorry it's so dirty here, but someday I'll get back at those 2. Just hang in there until then." I said this to my children, who couldn't possibly understand, but it seemed like they nodded. From then on, we lived in the old house. I left the children with Maria and went to work every day. One day, Maria said, "You haven't been with Michael lately. What happened?" "I've been driving to your house as instructed." When I said that, Maria looked like she realized something. "Could it be that you're staying in the old house in the backyard?" I was surprised. "How did you know?" "Michael really loves Jessie. If his wife speaks strongly to Jessie, Michael gets angry and says outrageous things. His previous wife was also told to go to the old house and finally ran away." "So, it was true. I'm on your side. You can always talk to me." I felt reassured having Maria as an ally. But then Jessie started leaving leftovers in front of the old house every day. I disposed of them silently. One morning, as usual, Jessie left a bag of leftovers. When I picked it up, it was too heavy for leftovers. Inside, I found a paper bag. Curious, I opened it cautiously and found it contained 20 bundles of $10,000 bills and a total of $200,000. I quickly took the money, packed our belongings, put the children in a taxi, and left the house with the $200,000. I headed to the airport, bought tickets to my hometown, and boarded the plane. The journey was long, taking 2 hours by plane and then a bus ride. I arrived at my parents' house in the late afternoon. When I finally checked my mobile phone, there were about 100 missed calls from Jessie and Michael. Julia was surprised to see me and said, "Oh, May, why are you back suddenly without any contact and such a long journey with small children?" "Wait a minute, Julia. Could I have some coffee? I'll explain everything after that." After putting Robin and Bob to bed, I drank coffee, took a breath, and then explained everything. Julia was very surprised. "So you bought that money?" "Yes, this." I showed her the money from my bag. Then I put a $10,000 bundle on the table and a piece of paper was visible among the bills. I pulled it out and it was a document indicating that the money was revenue from Michael's company. Maybe Michael embezzled the money from his company? Maybe. You found something serious. What will you do now?
What should I do?
Just then, someone rang the doorbell. Julia went to answer and there were Michael and Jessie out of breath. Michael shouted,
"May, please return that money. I just borrowed it and was going to return it."
"May, please return it." With a sly smile, I said, "It's surprising you knew I was here. What should I do with this money? I picked it up from the trash. Maybe I should take it to the police?"
But please don't do that."
"Why not?" Michael fell silent. "May, just return it without saying anything. I'll reconsider things about you." Angered by Jessie's words, I became furious. "What does that mean? What have you thought of me until now?" Jessie, with a regretful look, said, "Please forgive me. We'll take care of you as part of our family." "So, you haven't been taking care of me until now?" I said. Suddenly, Jessie knelt down. She told Michael to do the same and they both knelt side by side. Jessie said, "I'm truly sorry. Please forgive us. We'll listen to whatever you say. Please."
"May, I'll cherish you like when we first got married."
Michael said. Hearing Michael's words brought tears to my eyes. As I remembered how Jin had disappeared suddenly, and Michael had introduced Maria to take care of Robin. Through tears, I said, "Fine, Michael, if you say so, I'll return the money. But I'm divorcing you and I want alimony. I'll take care of Bob. Do you agree to these terms?" Michael looked pained but eventually said,
Yes, that's fine.
Then Jesse spoke up. "Michael, are you sure? You'll have to pay alimony." Michael yelled at Jesse.
Be quiet. If I say it's okay, then it's okay.
Hearing his voice, Jesse burst into tears saying, "Michael, why are you being so cold?"
Just go outside, Jesse.
Michael said, and she left the house crying. Michael watched Jesse's retreating figure. "Aren't you going to follow Jesse?"
First, please return the money.
"Fine. But I want the agreed terms written down and signed. I don't want to be told later that it never happened."
Okay, understood.
I handed Michael paper and a pen to record our agreement. I was about to hand him the bag with the cash, but then decided against it. I took $20,000 out of the bag and handed the rest to Michael. "I'll keep these $20,000 as per the alimony. If you're not happy, feel free to report me to the police." Michael gritted his teeth in frustration, trying to contain his anger.
Fine, but please don't tell anyone about this money.
"Okay, but if you start fussing about the alimony, I'll immediately report what you have done to the police." Michael left the house head bowed, without another word. After he left, Julia looked worriedly at me. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Those two used to throw their leftovers in front of my house every day, so I don't feel bad about what I did. They were terrible people." "Yes, they were," I said, thinking of the kind Jane, and tears welled up in my eyes. 2 months later, while I was taking care of the children at my parents' house, an unknown man came looking for me. He introduced himself as an employee of Michael's company and told me Michael had embezzled company money. He said Michael had given me part of the embezzled money. "I did receive money, but it was part of my alimony," I explained, showing him the document Michael had written. "If the company is in trouble, I'll return the money. I'll get the rest of the alimony from Michael," I added. I brought the $20,000 and handed it to the man, who gratefully accepted it. "What happened to Michael?" The man explained that the company had sued Michael and he was now in jail awaiting trial. Hearing this, I felt a sense of relief. The man thanked me politely and left. The following week, Jesse called me. "Michael has been taken by the police and I have nothing to eat. Can you lend me the money you gave back?" I returned that money to the company representative who visited me. "Even if I had it, I have no reason to lend it to you," I said, and hung up as Jesse was still talking. Then I told Julia, "I'm going to change my phone number." Looking at my 2 children playing at my feet, I smiled happily.